Nobody expected a quiet Sunday morning to explode into a showdown. Least of all me. Watching my daughter Sarah face down a fake cop with a gun pointed at her head, I froze. Sarah, in her running shoes, sweat beading on her brow, smirked like she was debating whether to laugh or dismantle the man. 5 seconds. That's all it took for the neighbors to sense a storm brewing. It started because the homeowners association thought a wannabe sheriff with an ego bigger than his badge could protect us. 2 months ago, we'd moved to Cedar Grove Estates, a sprawling suburban haven with big lots and open fields. Sarah, a retired Marine Corps instructor, was easing into civilian life, jogging trails and tending our backyard garden. I should have known peace wouldn't last. Not with Vince Malone cruising in a beat-up SUV, fake police stickers slapped on, mirrored sunglasses making him look like a low-budget action flick reject. Old Mr. Larson warned me early on, shaking his head over coffee. "Watch Vince," he said. "Thinks he's a lawman. Acts like it too." I thought it was an exaggeration. I was dead wrong. That morning, the sky glowed golden pink as Sarah double-knotted her shoes and hit the community trail. I sipped coffee on the porch, planning my day. 20 minutes later, tires screeched. Shouts erupted. Coffee splashed as I bolted down the driveway. A crowd had gathered at the trailhead, and there was Sarah, calm as steel, facing Vince, who waved a pistol like a bad movie villain. "Show ID now," he barked, voice shaky. "You're trespassing." Suspicious. Sarah's gaze could have melted iron. "And if I don't, what?" "Deputy dog," she quipped. He raised the gun, knuckles white. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones came out. My heart pounded, but I trusted Sarah's training. She stepped forward, hands raised just enough to seem harmless, her stance pure control. "Sure you want to point that at me, Vince?" she said softly. "Sure you want to make a mistake you can't undo?" His hand twitched. In a flash, Sarah closed the gap, twisted his wrist, popped the magazine, and disassembled the gun into useless pieces at their feet. The crowd erupted, cheers, even applause. Vince stared at the parts like they'd betrayed him. Sarah dusted her hands. "Call your boss," she mocked. "Oh, wait. You don't have one." Sheriff's deputies arrived, shaking Sarah's hand, chuckling at Vince's humiliation. But the HOA board wasn't amused. Mrs. Caldwell, the haughty president, swept in, perfume clouding the air, begging Sarah not to press charges to save the community's reputation. She offered free dues for a year. Sarah smiled, saying she'd think about it, but I knew that look: calm, lethal, plotting. Vince and the HOA thought they'd dodged a bullet. They hadn't seen the war coming. Sarah didn't rush her counterstrike. She was a strategist, not a hothead, playing chess while others played checkers. After disarming Vince, she finished her jog, tossing me a grin as she returned. "We're going to have fun with this," she said. I didn't ask. I'd seen that glint in her eyes during her Marine days. For days, she seemed casual, jogging, chatting with neighbors, but she was hunting intel. Her questions were sharp: how long had Vince patrolled? Who funded him? How were fines issued? She learned Vince wasn't a volunteer but an under-the-table hire, paid with resident dues, no vote, no background check, just a fake badge and a loaded ego. Sarah wanted hard proof. One night, we crept out, planting hidden cameras at the trailhead, clubhouse, and HOA office. Adrenaline buzzed like we were on a covert op. Within days, the cameras caught Vince bullying a teen cyclist, accusing him of threatening safety, and intimidating a mom over birthday balloons, demanding a permit or a $500 fine. The footage boiled my blood, but Sarah stayed ice cold. "This is gold," she said, saving it to her laptop. She also targeted the HOA. Posing as an eager new resident, she charmed her way into a board meeting. Over stale donuts, the board spilled secrets, dues funneled to Vince's patrol via beautification slush fund, covering his gas, uniform, even his badge. One night, Sarah recorded Mrs. Caldwell plotting to bury us in violations until we moved. They called Sarah a troublemaker and me a pushover. Sarah smiled across the table, her recorder capturing every word. They think they can bully us, she laughed later. They don't know who they're messing with. She wasn't just after Vince, she wanted the corrupt board exposed for every neighbor silenced by fear. Sarah built her case like a fortress. Videos, photos, a flowchart tracing dues to Vince's pocket. Meanwhile, Vince, thinking he'd scared her, smirked as he cruised past our house. He didn't know he was walking into her trap. Sarah waited, letting the HOA dig deeper. She suggested baiting them to overplay their hand. Let them think they're untouchable, she said. They'll show everyone who they are. Risky, but genius. We played nice, paid dues, even baked cookies for a meeting, making Mrs. Caldwell squirm. The retaliation hit fast. A violation notice, scratched into our door, cited our tiny American flag as unauthorized. Then came notices for excessive jogging and lawn height despite our pristine yard. Sarah photographed each, her evidence pile growing. Then came the escalation, Sarah's car keyed, tires slashed, with a fake ticket calling her a dangerous driver. She didn't rage. She smiled, checking her driveway camera. There was Vince, knife in hand, smug under the security light. Got him, she said, freezing his face on screen. Sarah drafted a report, attaching every file, and sent it to the sheriff, news stations, and the DA. But she wanted more than legal victory, she wanted public shame. She announced a Patriots Day event at our house, honoring local veterans, including her service. The HOA couldn't object without looking un-American, so they promoted it, unaware they were setting their own stage. Sarah prepared meticulously, tents, buffet, red white blue decor. News vans arrived, reporters clutching her press kits. Neighbors buzzed, some whispering support. The board showed up, Mrs. Caldwell's smile strained. Vince, absent. Sarah's speech was heartfelt, thanking veterans. Then she handed the mic to reporters. They grilled the board, playing footage of Mrs. Caldwell's scheming and Vince's bullying. Neighbors gasped, murmurs turning to outrage. The board wilted. Mrs. Caldwell's apologies drowned in boos. Deputies arrived, serving investigation notices, one thanking Sarah publicly. The HOA's facade shattered as neighbors chanted for resignations. The fallout was swift. Headlines screamed, "Fake cop threatens veteran's daughter, HOA embroiled in scandal." Petitions demanded Mrs. Caldwell's ouster. The board's closed-door meetings flopped, neighbors weren't scared anymore. Another violation arrived, claiming our event was unauthorized despite their newsletter. Sarah laughed, adding it to her file. A legal threat followed, accusing us of defamation. Sarah's response cited whistleblower laws and her DA complaint, mailed. System, mailed with a smirk. Vince's harassment persisted, our mailbox toppled, trash dumped, threatening notes. Sarah's cameras caught teens he'd paid to vandalize. They confessed, landing him conspiracy charges. She sent updated evidence everywhere, including the state HOA regulator. The board called a community unity meeting, hoping to spin the narrative. We sat front row, watching Mrs. Caldwell's speech unravel as a reporter cited financial misdeeds. Neighbors shouted, one waving a sunflower fine, another demanding resignations. The chant, "Resign," shook the room. Mrs. Caldwell fled, the meeting collapsing. Neighbors stayed, planning a recall. Sarah smiled, she'd predicted it all. Vince, it turned out, had scammed other HOAs too, racking up lawsuits. The recall vote ousted Mrs. Caldwell and 4 board members, replaced by honest neighbors. An audit exposed the slush fund. Unlicensed patrols were banned. Mrs. Caldwell sold her house, leaving quietly, unmourned. Life normalized. Kids played, flags flew, fear faded. At a community cookout, Mr. Jenkins, an old veteran, praised Sarah for saving Cedar Grove with heart and brains. Applause roared. Sarah blushed but waved it off. Later, she said, fighting's about refusing to quit, not being loudest. A month later, a dedication ceremony unveiled a park plaque, "A community thrives when its people stand together." Sarah watched, content. Neighbors gifted us a sign, "Cedar Grove thanks Sarah," hung proudly by our garden. She didn't brag, just planted sunflowers, their faces chasing the sun. Newcomers heard the legend of the jogger who toppled tyrants, and old-timers grinned, saying, "Let me tell you about the HOA that thought it was in charge." Sarah smiled, sowing seeds of courage, proving one woman's grit could spark a revolution.